weeks ago, Too Faced re-released an updated version of their Born This Way foundation, a soft matte foundation, and a new concealer, and I just skipped it. And I have no idea why. I just kind of went, nah. But I thought, oh, that's not fair. So I've come back, and today you're going to see the new and improved Too Faced Born This Way Soft Matte Foundation and Born This Way Super Coverage Multi-Use Concealer with me, Rebecca. I am a fashion and beauty editor who spent, over 20 years in the journalism trenches with some of the biggest names in the industry, and I have started Not Fit for Print Beauty to give you sort of a live beauty magazine that you can see here on YouTube. I changed that intro a little bit from a suggestion from a viewer. I like it. It'll keep changing, of course. I'm doing it by heart. All right, I don't know why I skipped these when they first came out, but I did. And then I kind of went, why are you leaving a new... I don't know. I was just like, meh. I think we've been inundated with new products, but this one does deserve to be looked at. Too Faced Born This Way is an industry in and of itself. They have eyeshadow palettes, and they've had concealers, and they have a matte, isn't it? Not a soft matte, but I think there's a matte foundation. There's quite a few others that I've tried throughout the years, all of which I've kind of liked, none of which I've loved. So let's talk about this one and, what the deal is with it. We're about 2 hours into a wear test, but we're going to do a much longer wear test. So let me give you the info on it. Then we'll go straight to the demo, and we'll do some check-ins too. I'm only 2 hours into it. So the Born This Way, we'll start with the soft matte foundation, is $46 and comes in 30 shades. I purchased it in light beige. I am wearing it right now. You'll see in the demo, I did pretty good on the shade. It is new and improved. It is weightless and buildable. It is medium to full coverage. I would say that's accurate. In fact, on the full side of medium is what I would say. It is soft matte. It controls oil, and it gives you 24 hours worth of coverage, which is great for those of you, especially in the medical field, where you have these really crazy long hours. I don't need 24-hour coverage. And I've never really tested anything for 24, but I will try to push this as long as I can. And during the demo, because I've already filmed that part, I will tell you that I do mention that some of these 24-hour foundations come into their stride around 8 to 10 hours. That's when they're really full steam in it. And I think this one might as well. So we'll take a look at that. This comes with, I bought the mini. I got too much stuff, you guys. I bought the mini. This comes with the Born This Way Super Coverage Multi-Use Concealer. It doesn't come with, it's paired with, you have to buy it separately. The little guy that I bought was $16, and the normal size, if you really love it, is $36. Both sizes come in 30 shades, all 30 shades, both sizes, that's right. Usually the minis only come in a selection. Very proud of Too Faced for that, because I love me a mini. And I bought that in light beige also. The thing is, this is considered a 4-in-1 concealer, meaning it can conceal. And for that, you need the same shade of the makeup. You can go a little lighter into the eyes if you want to. They can also contour for, obviously, you'd go darker and to a more neutral or cooler tone if you're going to contour. You can highlight with it and go much lighter. Won't be sparkly, won't be shiny, but you can certainly highlight, bring out the tops of the cheeks with a much lighter shade, and you can also throw it in your bag to retouch. This is full coverage, so you can also use it just in place of makeup on a no makeup day if you want to. A little bit of this goes a really long way, which scares me, but they say not to worry because it's crease free and weightless, and they say this even hides tattoos. And when they're bragging about this hiding tattoos, you know it is powerful. My fear with something like this is that I don't like thick concealers. Now we have to talk here about my concealer spectrum. You can use the if you've seen my concealer spectrum spiel too much, don't worry, there are timestamps below. But let me just tell you, I learned when I was just doing magazine work that people tend to like the same types of concealers, and they look for two things in concealers. You might not even realize you do this, but trust me, you do. The coverage it provides, but also the feel, and they are two different things. So it could be thick and not have as much coverage. It could be thin and have a lot more. Lately, a lot of concealers have a nice medium coverage and a nice thin consistency. The thickest ones are things like the original Tarte Shape Tape. Pat McGrath Labs had a concealer a lot of you love. Ugh. And I worried this would be on that side. Good Apple had one too. The Good Apple from KVD. Thick, 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 and they would crease. This one is a little bit thinner in consistency. I would say the consistency is more towards what we've been used to from House Labs and recently from Fenty and a few others. And Danessa Myricks, the consistency. But the coverage is definitely more, and a little does go a long way. And if you use too much of this, it will start to cake on you. But some of you love that concealer. Frankly, and I'm only 2 hours into the wear test, I don't know if I would normally pair these two together. I did because, it was a logical editorial decision. Came out at the same time, shared the same name, released in the same shades. Makes sense. But to me, this is actually, if I had my druthers, one that I would use on a day with very little coverage, maybe almost a tinted moisturizer. And I would use something a lot lighter with this. When you pair two thick things together, to me, you're asking for trouble in terms of creasing. And I think I'm seeing a little bit of that now, but I'll hold off because, like I said, we're only 2 hours in. But on the spectrum, this is a medium feel, but a super, super heavy coverage. Coverage akin to the original Shape Tape, not the creamy, not the radiant Shape Tape, but the original, but feel like the Nude Danessa Myricks or House Labs. Little bit lighter feel. Okay, just wanted to get that part out of the way. Again, $16 for this little one, $36 for the main one, and $46 for this one. Let me show you some ingredients. Here they are side by side. The smaller one is obviously the concealer, and the bigger is obviously the foundation version. They seem a little bit different in shade, but they are both light beige. And, whether or not you go a little lighter under the eyes with the concealer is totally up to you. Some people still do. There's really no need to if you want to go with the exact same shade, but, there's no hard, fast rules for this sort of thing. It's just have fun with it, right? Okay, what I want to do now is take you to the demo where we're going to apply this, and then we'll do a little bit of a check-in, and then at the end of the day will be our final check-in. Okay, make sure that you are subscribed. I will make sure to have all of these products, these two products that I'm working with, not only in YouTube shopping on screen, which will be right there. You can click on that. Also down below in the description bar, check out our Facebook group. Thanks to Helen for womaning that over there. And check out our membership here online. We have weekly lives. The membership costs a little bit under $5, but all the money goes to a very good cause. That is buying makeup for this channel. What can I say? All right, make sure you're subscribed, and let's hit that demo. We're going to get this show on the road here, doing one side of the face fully first, and then the other, and then we'll get this wear test on the road with some check-ins. I have purchased, as I told you, the exact same color in both. And, we talked about the different ways that you can purchase this shade, the concealer shade, for your whatever purposes you want to use it for. For me, I have enough bronzers and I have enough highlighters. I just always need good concealers. All right, so let's do this in the traditional way, which would be foundation first. This is our soft matte foundation, or Born This Way soft matte foundation, and this is in shade light beige. Okay, I have a Sonia G brush here, and let's just start with this side of the face. I have not had a lot of sleep lately, last 2 nights, so boy, am I going to have some coverage in general. When you don't sleep well, not only do your eyes not look good, the rest of the skin on the face doesn't look too good either. So kind of a good time for a medium to full coverage foundation and concealer. All right, I am trying the best I can to divide my face in half, just so you kind of get an idea of what this looks like. I think I did pretty good on the shade choice, unless it's going to turn a bit as it sits, but we will see. Okay. There we go. Have a little bit left on my hand, but I'll use that later. Oh, it's really sitting quite nicely on the face. And it is definitely, from what I can see, a medium to full coverage. Very pretty. And definitely, so far, kind of a soft matte look. What do you think? All right, leaving this side of the face bare. As you know, I have no primer on because we are testing this, and I'm not going to powder or setting spray or anything. All right, I do have the mini, and we're going to use it just as a traditional concealer. I bought the mini because, like Got a lot of concealers around here. All right. The foundation itself, interestingly enough, did a great job of dealing with my dark pits of despair. This is why I need concealer. I don't know about you guys. I don't get puffiness under the eye, but kind of sunken in and really dark. I call it my dark pits of despair. As you see, they have their own theme song. Already the foundation did a nice job, just the foundation I ran up there. So this, with the added concealer, should do really nicely. And this concealer is an exact match. So let's see what we think of it. It's a little warmer, I think, than the foundation. I'm going to put it on some spots here where I just have some discoloration and just overall tiredness. We'll let that sit for a moment. Generally, you really only need concealer to sit for a moment when it's over a blemish, but I figure what's good for the goose is good for the gander. An inappropriate metaphor here, but you get what I mean. All right, so let's go ahead and just kind of blend, see if that helps. Looks like that's a nice pairing. Oh, nice. You know, it went on and on and on about how thick this concealer is. It's actually got a nice full coverage without being too thick. I thought it was going to be like the original Tarte Shape Tape, which to me was super thick and creased and was cakey. And I don't see that here, but this is a nice full coverage concealer over the full coverage foundation, which frankly I needed today. Okay, so we have this light beige shade in both the concealer that I'm using as a concealer and the foundation, and of course that is both on this side with no primer, just morning skincare that's sunken in, and no powder. It's not that I don't powder my foundation, I do a little bit, but during a wear test I want to know if there's any problems, what's causing it. Usually I don't wear concealer, but you know, these came out together. I don't know why I was ignoring this for so long. It just felt like, nah, I have no idea why. Seems to be very pretty. Definitely full coverage. I'm curious if it will wear well or sink into lines. I'm very curious. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'll speed it up for you. I'll do the other side of the face, and then we'll take a look at the whole face freshly done and start our wear test from there. Stay right there. Okay, yeah, I always use my hands and the warmth of my hands to settle in my foundation, especially if it's medium to full coverage. And yes, I wash my hands afterwards. And yes, you guys always ask me that. No, I go make a sandwich. Okay, let's take a look at what we have here. This is definitely getting to be the kind of full coverage that I need, but don't always want. I need to take a hint. Whenever I wear coverage like this, I get more compliments, but I'm not always the most comfortable in it, literally comfortable in it. So let's take a look here. It's definitely presenting a really nice, solid canvas for makeup. Could it use some powder? Yeah, it doesn't feel sticky, but it's not like self-setting. So if you like a powder, it would really take a powder really nicely. It doesn't need it if you don't like a powder, you know, but if you have an oilier complexion, I can see that. Would normally, just for me, I would powder under the eyes, around the nose, and probably the T-zone. But if you love a good powder, this would take it really nicely and might need it if you don't want to feel it all sticky. It looks like it's sitting over the pores really well and behaving a lot like one of these serum foundations, which kind of make me laugh. If I could take a bet with this, it's like you know, when you take a 24-hour allergy medication as opposed to a 12-hour allergy medication. Leave it to me to have the strange analogies, but stay with me. You know, the longer it lasts, the longer it takes to kind of really start working too. Right? Long acting. And I find that with these 24-hour serum foundations, they're like at their best at 8-10 hours in, not really the first handful of hours. And I feel that's going to be the case here too. So, well, we'll see, because we're going to let it ride. We'll check in a little bit in the middle of the day and then do a final check-in at the end. So stay right there. We're smack dab 5 hours in. The intro was at 2 hours, and I haven't changed anything. So let's take a look. At 2 hours, I had some suspicions. I haven't looked too much at this or, you know, messed with it very much. So 5 hours, let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. It's creasing a little bit under the eyes and on the lids because I don't have any eyeshadow on. But, you know, I didn't powder. I think a little bit of powder under here would help. But it is creasing a little bit. Like I said in the intro, and I was suspicious of this, thick with thick has never been my ideal. I kind of needed it today, I admit. But I will say this. I was right. I'm learning as I go. How many years have I done this? And I'm still surprising myself and learning. Yes, I was right. It is doing better now at 5 hours. I like it more at 5 hours than I liked it at immediately after putting it on or at 2 hours. When you like it best, right, when you put it on, it might be a danger sign. I have a little bit of lip balm on, not much else. This is very full coverage. I don't think you would ever see me and think I wasn't wearing a foundation. It's medium to full. I find that a bit stifling, but that is personal preference. In terms of medium to full at 5 hours, it's looking pretty darn good. Honestly, I'm just trying to be picky. It's looking pretty good. All right, so let's see what happens. I'm just going to let it go all day long. And let's see. I'll try to get 8 hours. I know it's 24-hour coverage, but let me just try to get 8 or maybe let's get 10. Let's get 10. All right, stay right there. Can I call it 10 if it's been not quite 10? Can I call it 10 if it's been 9 hours and 40 minutes? Let's call it 10. Can we call it 10? All right, well, let's take a look here. I think we're doing pretty good. Now, if I was right, I put on some lip balm. That's all that's changed. A little more lip balm by Terry. It will be in the description bar. If I'm right, it's going to look its best right now. Like that 8 to 10 hour mark. I haven't really looked, to be honest with you. Yeah. Ooh! In fact, it's actually looking really good. It's even settled down under the eyes. I still recommend that it needs some powder, but my goodness, is it looking pretty over the pores on my cheeks and here on my forehead. That is really blurring. I don't know what it is about these 24-hour foundations, but man, they hit their stride right in the middle of their little, they look good. I don't know how to do for 24 hours. I'm sorry to let you down. I gotta go to sleep. But yeah, beautiful on the chin. A little bit. This is the concealer settling in a little. I stand by my claim, you guys, that personally I wouldn't pair these two together. That's not to say you shouldn't. Obviously, they're meant to be paired together. But I stand by that. To me, medium on the thicker side of medium doesn't need on the thicker side of medium. Just saying. And I actually thought this did really well. If you remember in the demo, for me, the demo was a long time ago. For you, it was not too far away. For me in the demo, I thought this did well just on its own because it's such a nice thicker medium coverage. Frankly, I don't know that I needed concealer. And a little of this does go a long way. But if you've got that killer blemish, this will be your friend. This is a good product. This will go on my recommendation list for those of you that like a nice full coverage. Nobody's going to think that this is a no makeup look. It's thick. I don't have any other makeup on and I still don't really need anything, not even any color. I'm just like made up, you know. But it does look flawless. There's no doubt I have a thick amount of makeup on, but it looks good. Yeah, it looks really good. So that's a thumbs up. If you are someone who likes a nice thick medium foundation, if you're looking for this is a good one. And if you're looking for a concealer that has that coverage of the super thick concealer, but the feel is a little bit more medium, it's a good one too. I can't give either of these a bad review. Too Faced makes nice complexion products. What can I say? And this is no exception. This is looking pretty at 10 hours, and it will look. I think it will go 24. That's just a guess. But I feel pretty good about it. That's a darn pretty foundation. All right, will you let me know what you think? As usual, this is going to be here for purchase, down below for perusal and purchase. Check out all of the information that we have down there. Of course, make sure that you subscribe. It's such a great compliment that you can give to me. And let me know your thoughts down below. That's what makes us a community. I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Bye-bye.